Imagine having your very own AI receptionist that never sleeps, answers calls, takes bookings, and handles questions 24/7, 365. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how you can build this voice AI agent, no matter if you're a plumber, electrician, painter, decorator, facilities management, or any of these other different industries that need to be able to take calls around the clock, even if you're on site, maybe completing a job. This is the use case for you. And all of the resources are going to be linked down below. And if you want this to be built for your business, definitely reach out and we can help. So let's jump straight into a demo and see how it works. First, we're just going to activate the store job details for this test. But in reality, we'd have this running constantly in the background. I'm not going to speed this up for you so you can see exactly what it would sound like.
Hi, thanks for calling EI Plumbers. How can I help you today?
Hi there, I'd like to book an appointment, please.
Sure thing. Is for an emergency, a one-off job, or a routine service?
Just for a one-off job, please. I need to have my boiler serviced.
Oh, I think your full name, please.
Yeah, sure. It's Alex Followell, and Followell is spelled Followell.
Thanks, Alex. You're calling from... Is that the best number or another?
Yeah, that's the best number to reach me on.
Email for your confirmation.
That would be alex@theaiedge.group.
Is that Alex at the KG.group? I think your full address, including postcode.
Yep, sure. My address is 123 Market Street, SW1 1AA, London.
Would you prefer a morning or an afternoon appointment?
Could I get tomorrow afternoon, please, if it's free?
Let me check tomorrow afternoon slots for you. Noon. Tomorrow afternoon, I can do 2, 3, or 4.
Could I get the 3 o'clock appointment, please?
Great. I'll secure the 3 o'clock slot for you now. That's booked for Alex Followell at 123 Market Street, London, SW 11AA tomorrow at 3. Boiler service from 89 pounds. Before I finish, any notes you'd like us to add? Parking tests for access and sales?
Yes, we've got a big German Shepherd, so can we make sure that the team's aware of that, please?
Noted. I'll add that. I'll send your confirmation now and store your booking details securely so the team has everything. All set. You'll get your confirmation. Save some folders. Call us on 0200000.
Brilliant, thank you. So there we go. As we can see, we're able to book those appointments 24/7, 365. We've got a confirmation text that came through, which I'll put over the screen now. And just to show you that it did come through in real time, you should have seen the notification, but as you can see here in the background as well, did come through straight away. And we're going to store all of this data in Google Sheets, but you can more than easily store this in different CRMs or other platforms. So we'll just come across, and then as we can see here, if we just refresh, we've got a new Alex Followell row at the bottom here with my phone number. We've got a boiler service one-off. We've got my address captured correctly. We've got the time, and we've got the note saying that we've got large German Shepherd. Now the last thing to check is, so we're just going to come across now, and as we can see here, we've now got an appointment ready to go with our email address correctly captured so that we can then actually complete the job tomorrow. And again, we can fully customize this to what we want. This is only the tip of the iceberg. There's loads of different ways that you can set this up to capture more data, process more data, lots of different customizations. So if you're interested in this, definitely reach out below or check the link to learn how you can build it yourself. So how does this agent actually work? Well, at the moment, many businesses are directly responding back to customers, but what we can do instead is shift this more towards an AI agent, AI employee that can do those responses. To do that, we're going to need a couple of different platforms. First up, we're going to need the voice AI platform. This is how we're going to be able to make and receive those phone calls. In this use case, I'm going to be using Retell AI, which is a great market-leading platform to be able to do this. We're also going to connect it into platforms like Cal.com to make it a really seamless booking process to find available slots and book an appointment into Google Calendar, but you can do that with lots and lots of other calendars. And we're going to be using our phone number from Twilio to be able to make these calls and receive them. The next part is we want to be able to take some automated actions in the background. Now, NA10 is fantastic and it can be used across lots and lots of different use cases. Everything from invoice processing to emailing customers to doing outreach and loads of other ones. The sky really is the limit with that. But what it can also do is help us talk between Retell AI, NA10, and Google Docs. So now we can start to move our data around as we need it between different systems. This means you don't have to do anything and the entire process is taken care of by AI and automation. So now NA10 can connect into all of our different platforms and automate the backend, whilst Retell AI and the voice takes care of that customer interaction on the front end. So first thing we're going to do is go through and set up Retell AI. I'll include the link below to Retell AI so you can find it nice and easy. They've got lots and lots of different use cases, lots and lots of different functionality. Let me know if there's anything in particular you'd love to see from this and voice AI in general. You're going to be able to log in, and the great part about this is it's completely usage-based pricing. So you're only going to be paid for what you actually use. So the first thing we need to do is generate our agent. So we're going to come up to create an agent and voice agent. Now we've got lots of options here, which we're going to cover in later and more in-depth videos. But for today, just go through and choose single prompt agent. We're going to do start from blank and create. This is going to give us the foundations to be able to use our agent later on. We're going to rename this Trade Business AI Agent. We're then going to be able to see lots of information. At the top, we're going to have our agent ID, our Retell LLM ID. We're going to have the cost per minute. We're going to have the latency, i.e. how long it will take between you saying something or your customer saying something and them receiving a response. So in this case, it's in milliseconds, so that would be 0.9 seconds to about 1.3 seconds to get a response back. And that's fantastic because it's around about a second for the average human to understand something being said and receive a response back. And then the next and final part here is just the token usage for our specific agent. We're going to be able to come down here and choose lots and different options. Now, the key part about this is all of them will have different price points, but also the tonality and how that agent sounds will differ between OpenAI, Claude, and Gemini. If you're looking for something really fast, the Flash models are fantastic at this from Google's Gemini. They're also really intelligent. The reason for this, and I'll include it down below, is because their speed, i.e. the number of tokens, the number of words that they can output per second, is significantly higher than what ChatGPT 5 can do. So if you want to prioritize giving a fast response back, then Gemini is really, really good for that. We're going to come back across to Retell AI and we'll just do Gemini 2.5 Flash, which is the latest model. This is going to cost us $0.035 per minute. We're going to be able to change the different settings in here. If you're doing this as a receptionist, definitely keep that temperature down low to start off with. This is just going to make it a bit more consistent in the outputs that you get. It's also going to follow the prompt that we give it a lot more closely. The next is the voice. So we can click on here. Automatically, we're going to be able to use 11 Labs, and we can even import our very own voices if we want to use that in here. We've also got access to Cartesia and OpenAI. I'm going to come back to 11 Labs though. We're going to choose a British accent, and we're just going to go with Amy in here. You can also play them to hear what they sound like.
Good day. I'm Amy, your digital assistant, ready to navigate through challenges and streamline your day.
So that's what our agent's going to sound like. We're going to do use voice. We can also change some of the settings. So within here, our Flash model is slightly less intelligent, but is going to give us a really fast response back. Or we can use the Turbo, which is a bit more intelligent, a bit higher quality, and will still give us a decently fast response back. So again, when you're going through and building this out, decide if you're looking for more of a quality response, or if you want to prioritize getting that response back as quick as possible. We're going to use Flash 2.5, which is the latest version from 11 Labs at the moment. We can also do the speed to make them talk faster or slower, the temperature so calm and emotional, and the volume as well. We're going to do save, and now our agent's all set up and ready to go. I'm just going to change this to UK English just for the prompt and how it's going to be used. Now I've got a prompt all ready to go, which I'm going to walk us through now. Now don't worry about what the screen looks like. This is just VS Code if you haven't seen it before. But the key part that we're doing is breaking down our instruction so it's really easy for the AI agent, i.e. AI employee, to understand what it needs to do. So we've given it a really clear role. We've given it some context around our business. We've given it some safety information because of the specific use case we're going after. We've then given it a really clear objective, so it's identifying the intent. Is it an emergency? Is it a one-off call out, a routine check, general inquiry, and more? And again, this is not a golden template. You can definitely customize this to exactly what you need. We then explain how it needs to go through that booking process. So we're gathering details. We need to check the availability. We're calling out the different functions that we're going to call as well. And these are, think of it as like subtasks we want this agent to complete. We're going to walk through a couple of examples like this and how you can set up your very own custom functions too. We go through, we confirm the booking, we make sure that there's any notes that we need to include in the ticket and finish it off. We've then got in case there's an emergency, so maybe you've got different conversation flows, we can include that in here. We've got an inquiry, behavior and rules. We've got the function calls or tools in here as well, plus the information we need for each of those. We've got an example conversation, and these are fantastic because it really helps guide the AI to understand the response that it needs to provide in specific use cases. So as we can see here, we've got a couple of examples that we can use. So definitely go through and customize this. Again, it's in the link down below to get access to it so that you can customize it for your business. We're going to copy all of this and then come back across to Retell AI and just paste in here. We're going to do save. So now we've got the instruction for our agent. We can see how it's impacted the latency, costs, token usage, and everything like this in a second. We're going to come down here, and instead of waiting for this user to speak first, we're going to say that we want our AI agent to speak first. The reason for this is because, of course, when many people make a phone call, they're waiting for that person to pick up and say, "Hi, how can I help?" or "Hi, this is AI plumbing. What can we do for you?" So that's why we're switching it across. Now you can make it a dynamic message where AI is going to come up with it each time, or we can just change it to a fixed message each time. In this use case, I'm just going to say, "Hello, welcome to AI plumbers. How can I help today?" And this is all the AI is going to say back to us. So this is the first part of our prompt that we need to make sure that we have set up. Next, we're going to go through some of the functions, i.e. actions that the agent's able to take. So think back to our diagram that we've got here. This is how we're going to let it connect into Cal.com, Google Sheets, NA10, and lots of other platforms. So the easiest way to be able to take bookings is by using an integration called Cal.com. So all we need to do is come across to Cal.com's website. Again, this is very cost efficient if you did want to go through and set this up for yourself or for a team. We're going to sign in here. I'm just using the free version to show you that it does work. we're going to need to create a new event on the right-hand side here and just assign it to our team. We're going to give it a test. So we're going to say AI plumbers. What you'll need to do is set up a couple of different variants of these so it knows what event it's looking for each time. So for example, if you've got a boiler appointment that is 60 minutes, we'll change the duration to be 60 minutes. Whereas if you've got maybe a quick fix or maybe just pricing up some work, you could change that down to 30 minutes and then it will only put 30 minutes in that person's diary. We're going to keep this at 30 minutes for today just to show you how it works. We then need to do continue, and now we're going to have our event set up. To get this into Retell AI, we're going to come up to our URL and copy the number sequence we've got here. We're going to come back across and do check availability first. We're going to paste our event type ID down the bottom here, and then we're just going to change the time zone. In this case, I'm Europe and then / London, and we're going to need to find our API key. Before we do that, if we come back across, you can also go through and specify some restrictions and limitations around each of the different events. So for example, if your working hours are 9 to 5, you can set that in here, or you can change it to a different time zone. You can always see down the bottom here that time zone is working with as well. We can set limits on how often it can be booked. We can do advanced integrations for different calendars, if it's going to be reoccurring or not reoccurring, connect it into different apps and more. But as we're using it with Retell AI today, we're going to need to come through and get our API key. I'm just going to create a new one here, which I'm going to delete after this video. I'm going to do YT and then demo, and we're going to say it never expires. We're going to save this, copy, come back across to Retell AI and paste in here. So now we've got the ability to check the actual Google Calendar that we've just logged in with, so we can find the next available slots. We can do save, and this works for Teams as well, by the way, across different calendars. Next, we're going to come through and just book onto that calendar. So now we're going to paste our API key back in there. We'll come back across to our specific event type that we had. We'll copy that ID again, and then paste down the bottom here. We'll change it to Europe / London for the time zone too. We're going to do save, and now we've got that direct integration to be able to find available slots. If you want to test it out to see if it's working, come to the right hand side and you can either chat with it here or you can do a text version instead. So for example, we've got that new custom response coming back, and I can say, please tell me the free slots for tomorrow. We'll then send it off, and this is how the agent would typically respond if we were going to have a conversation. The key part that we want to see here is, does it activate one of the tool calls, which is the functions on the left here? If it does, you'll see these two different options to be able to pull back the information. So now, if we said, please can you book for 2 and then 30, it's now going to go off and try and book that specific one. Now, because of the prompt that we've given it on the left, it's going to ask for all of our information to make the booking. So for time, we're just going to stop doing that now. So this is how we can easily go through and book appointments using cal.com into our Google Calendar, like you saw here, nice and easily. And this works 24/7, 365. The next part that we want to be able to do is, of course, store the information about the customer. Now, we're using Google Sheets here today because it's free and easy to use, but you could just as easily integrate this with any of the market-leading CRMs or platforms like Go High Level to be able to capture information for all of the different businesses. So to do this, what we need is NA10. And this is going to enable us to send the information from Retell AI to NA10 to then store it in all of the different applications. NA10 integrates with over 500 different applications, so there's loads and loads of different ways that you can run it. As you can see here, we've got a couple of nodes that we're going to need to set up. So we'll come across to a new environment. I'm going to do right click and add node. We're going to do a web hook. And then what we need from this screen here is the URL. First, we need to change it to post because it's going to be receiving information in a live update. Now, there's two different ways of doing this. If you're going to be having it on all of the time in the background, you need the production URL and then come back and activate the environment. This is going to mean it's constantly listening for data in the background if we wanted to use it. But we won't be able to see the test data in the same way. We'll only be able to see complete executions. Instead, we're going to come through and just use our test URL for today. We're going to come back to Retell AI. We're going to do add on the functions and down to where it says custom function. We're going to give this a name. So in this case, it's going to be store_job_details. Next, we're going to give it a description. So in this use case, we're just going to say, we're going to store all of the details relating to this customer's job so that we can have it in Google Sheets or other applications. That's going to populate in there for us. Now we need to add our webhook URL that we just generated in NA10 in here. So that's going to be our API endpoint. We've got post in here. So if we come back across, that's why we need it to be a post request. We're going to need to make sure that we've got the test URL. If you're running this in production, as in live, always in the background, you will need to use the production URL instead versus the test, because test is only going to listen when we activate it, whereas production will always listen for events in the background. So for example, with production, it will always store customer information no matter the day or time. We're going to copy the test URL, come back across and paste into here. This will be custom to your specific environment. For security, you can also go through and add some headers, as you can see in here, header auth, so that you can go through and basically make it a bit more secure so not everyone can go through and just send data across to your API endpoint. Totally up to you. Now, to specify the custom data that we want to be sent across, we're going to use form instead. We're going to add the parameter. In this case, we'll do customer_name, because then what we want to do, send across the first and last name of the customer for us to store in Google Sheets. So this is now going to basically try and extract the customer's name based on our description and send it across as a string field. You've got string, object, number, or Boolean. Most of the data that you're going to be playing around with is likely to be string, number, or Boolean. If you're not sure what Boolean is, this is basically true or false. So if we come back across to our data, as you can see here, tick or not ticked, that means if it's not ticked, it's false. If it's ticked, it's true. So it's kind of one or the other, it's binary 1 or 0, and that's what we're looking for. So it can be really useful in specific use cases. For our customer name though, it's going to be string. Now we can go through and add lots and lots of different ones. For example, customer_notes. Any notes regarding the job that the customer wants us to be aware of. For example, if we need gate access codes or if they've got a dog on site, anything like this. So we can go through and add lots and lots of these. We'll make this required as well. So now I'm going to come through. We're going to add in appointment time, the preferred time that the customer would like the booking for, or the confirmed time that the customer has booked. The reason that we've said the difference between the two there is if you're capturing this data and the booking doesn't quite go through successfully, we've got preferred time, or actually the status is being confirmed. We can also do urgency. If the job is going to be urgent or not urgent from the customer, this will be a true or false value, or do Boolean and required. Customer notes actually is not required because not everyone's going to have extra points for us. The next one here, we're going to do job_type, the type of job that the customer wants us to complete, e.g. boiler service. We're going to make this required. And then last but not least, we'll do customer_address, the address of the customer / the location that we need to go through and complete the service request at. So that's going to add that in there, and we're going to be able to tick that as required. So now we're going to be sending all of this data across to our NA10 workflow. And that's why it's fantastic to connect these two, because now we've got almost unlimited abilities that we can do within NA10. Again, capture data, pull data, search in real time with Perplexity. So definitely let me know in the comments below if you've got anything specific you want us to show. We're also going to add in our speak during execution. So in this case, if I just copy this and put in here, the agent's going to say, let me check that for you, if it's going to take over 2 seconds to get a response. Now we're going to do save, and this is going to enable us to send the data back and forth. So now we give it a quick test with a real phone call going through. So we're going to come back down to phone numbers. If you've not done this before, you need to come through and connect your number via SIP trunking. We've got an entire video that shows you how to do this, as well as lots of other ones in the community. Or you can go through and buy a number directly through Retell AI to be able to do this. So once you've got your account connected, I'll include some of the links down below. Come back into your agent that you've set up. We're then going to make sure that we publish this agent, and we're connecting it as an inbound phone agent for that customer to be able to call 24/7, 365 instead of a human. We're also just going to quickly change this to ChatGPT 5 if we update that. Now we're going to go through and make sure that we give it a test call. We're going to do listen to test event.
Hello, welcome to AI Plumbers. How can I help you today?
Hi there, can I book a boiler service for next week, Tuesday, please?
No problem. Can I take your full name, please?
Yeah, sure, it's John Smith.
Thanks, John. You're calling from... Is that the best number or another?
Yeah, that's the best number.
Great, thanks. What's the best email for your confirmation?
Alex@theaiedge.group.
Thanks. Just a second. Is that Alex at the Edge Group?
Yeah, that's correct.
Could I take your full address, including postcode?
Yeah, sure, it's Millbank Street, SW1A0AA.
Thanks. Would you prefer a morning or an afternoon appointment next Tuesday?
Could I get an afternoon appointment, please?
Let's check Tuesday afternoon availability for you. We've got 2, 3 or 4:30 available. Which suits you?
Could I do the last one, please?
I'll put you in for 4:30 next Tuesday. I'll store your booking details securely to the team. That's booked for John Smith, Millbank Street, SW1A0A.
So there we go. As we can see, it triggered everything, sent it across. So now what we're able to do is if we just close this all down, at the bottom, we can now see all of that information for us to be able to use in the future. Again, you play around with the prompt, make sure it's capturing all the information that you want. There is a difference in how Gemini executes the prompts versus Claude, so just make sure that you're going through and doing the testing, and you can even go through and do the simulations as well. So you'll give it a couple of instructions, the test cases as they call it, and then it will go through and see how many meet it versus fail against trying to capture the data. But as you can see now, we've captured all of this data into NA10. So now we connect it into lots and lots of different applications, because NA10's got hundreds of different connectors for us to be able to use, move data around, analyze with AI, search with Perplexity, do data scraping, anything else using NA10. So if we want to store all of our data in Google Sheets like this, we're going to need a simple Google and then Sheet node. We're going to add in here that it's append a row in a sheet. You're going to need to make sure that you connect your account. I'll include the link down below for the actual walkthrough video in here. We've got it in the community as well that walks through step by step how to get it set up. It takes around 5 to 10 minutes, so it takes a little bit longer than a quick demo. We're going to connect in our sheet. So again, that was our customers, trade, businesses. And then we're going to do sheet 1, like you can see here, is customers. So we'll add customers in here. So as you can see there, if you wanted to move between different sheets or use cases, urgent, non-urgent, sales, reactivating leads, anything like that, you'd be able to do it nice and easily with this agent. Now to store all of the data, all we need to do is start collapsing some of this information so we can find all of the arguments. So in this case, we've got the customer name, we've got the urgency being false, so not ticking it. We've got the address, we've got the appointment time as well, or the date booked, and we've got the job type. We didn't capture any notes because it made that booking before checking with us, so that's why I say play around with the prompt. By all means, that was just a really quick demo to show you how it can work. The phone number, we do capture this as the from number. And what's really good about this is, as you can see down the bottom here, is all we need to do and pull that across. And now we can store that customer's phone number for us to be able to use in the future nice and easily. So now it's gone through and stored all of that information in our Google Sheets down the bottom here. And that's why it's fantastic being able to connect these two applications together, like you can see here, because now we've got loads and loads of different things that we're able to do with our voice AI agents to make it run on autopilot. And it's really shifting it from just an automated workflow or a standalone service to actually being more of an AI employee that can really help your business. So we're going to come back across into here. Now you'll notice that date time formula for where we've actually stored the information isn't as easy to read. So what we're going to do is add a code node after this. I'll include all of the code in the community. And what we're going to do is basically convert it into a short date time stamp like we can see there, because then we can use it in our text. To do that, we need to use Twilio again. So once you've set it up, that's why it's great, because you can use it in here as well as within Retell AI. You need to make sure that you've got your account connected. So again, your SID and auth token, which is just going to be down here, your auth token and SID. If we come back across, we'll now be able to send an SMS message, or you can do it as a WhatsApp if you want. We need the from number. So in this use case, we're going to do 2. The reason for this is because the customer has phoned you. So that's the number that received the phone call. So if we come down the bottom here, we can pull that across. Now the customer is going to receive a response back from the phone number that they phoned. So now if we do from, what we're able to do is pull across the from number, because this is the number that initiated the call for us. So now we've got it all stored and ready to go. We can do a message in here. So if we just open this up and do expression, you can customize this to really whatever you want. I'll show you an example. So for example, testing, and then we just do execute step. We're going to get a text that comes back. So I'll just show you that now. So there you go. As you can see at the bottom there, I'll also include a screenshot over the top. It says testing. So now we can make it really personalized to that customer if we wanted to. So we can paste an example that I've got in there. So we're just going to remove where we've got the customer name. We're going to pull that across here instead. You could use some AI to rewrite this every time, strip out maybe the first name if you wanted to use that as well. So lots of different options. We're going to add in the job type that they were looking for. In this case, it was to do with their boiler. We've got the formatted date time, as you can see here. One of the things I love about NA10 is on the right-hand side, we can see that exact data that's going to be passed across. And then last but not least, we're just going to add in their address at the bottom here to tell them where we're going. And then as you can see here, if you wanted at the end to just say your phone number in case they wanted to reach out to you, or you can set this up as an SMS agent, it will be able to respond back to any of the customers. So now, if we execute that step, as we can see, it's gone through. And if we open it up, as you can see down the bottom there, and I'll put it over the top, we've got that phone number going back to the customer. And that's how you're able to start playing around with voice AI for your organization. If you want something like this implemented for your business or much more advanced, definitely check the link below. Let me know in the comments below, is there anything you want to see around voice AI? We're going to be showcasing everything from the idea all the way through to a really complex workflow in the future. Stay tuned for more around AI, automation, and have a great day.